Hello, chaps. How's everything going? Looking a bit darker in the backgrounds because obviously we're doing this evening time UK, which is a slight change from our usual scheduling in the morning. We wanted to make it more inclusive for Simon, who feels a little bit left out.
So
But
kind of you.
he's,
No, it is.
he's actually moonlighting there in a hotel. So I really appreciate the commitment, Simon. You absolute legend.
Not at all.
Burgie boy there with another haircut, new haircut, showing off. Yeah, very good, mate.
Looks nice, actually.
Thank you, appreciate
it. Just for the 8 of you that have dived in here already, that's obviously promising signs because we've got a few in here. Just do me a favor, please share the stream. It is how the live streams grow. We're going to be talking about everything NFTs, crypto, what's happening in the current market, and just a bit of an update. And answering any questions from you guys who make it really interactive. This is episode 31. I can't believe we've got here, guys. Can you imagine? Remember the first episode we did when it was just like us talking a cappella? It ended up going 2 hours, and we ended up having, I don't know, it was about 200 people on that first live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And was it it was a test, wasn't it, that we were doing?
Yeah, just put
testing the waters, testing
the
tech.
But you kind of run with it because you don't realize that there's going to be more people joining. And then obviously this live streaming has now been a thing. You know, the amount of messages I get from people who say that they really like the conversations we have. And I think it's like because we're mates and we're enthusiastic about the space and people kind of relate to that. And it's very nichey. There's not really anyone else talking about NFTs kind of the way that we are, which is pretty cool. How have you guys been? Anyway, what's been happening over the last week or two? What's the update?
I've been honestly, I've actually been really getting into NFTs. I think I
love the way you're not that you weren't already.
No, good angle that, Birch. I wasn't expecting the NFT chat already. This is actually telling me you have no hobbies outside of NFTs.
No, it's not true. It's not true. But your post recently, I think it hit the nail on the head. I think the space is heating up a bit, and at least for me, I've been making some exciting moves. But Simon, what about you?
Yeah, it's really exciting. My life. I'm in a Premier Inn at the moment near Gatwick Airport. I do it in style.
Honestly, if you cut me and Burge out, that could be like a hostage video. The back
it's terrible lighting, and I'm just because I've been traveling a lot, and either in the UK or overseas the last couple of weeks training. And you know what? When I'm away, I actually really miss doing what we're doing now. And I feel I've become really detached, and I'm kind of doing it in the world of my training and leadership development. I'm thinking, oh, come on, I want to get back to what I really love, which is talking about NFTs, basically. So yeah, all good.
I mean, this is the thing. I'm sorry, I'm just sharing the live stream, folks. Just for the 24 of you who've dived in here early, just do me a massive favor. Please share it on whatever platform you're on. It does help the algorithm and does show it to more people. I completely resonate with that. This is like the most favorite part of my week, and it's the only thing that I do. I guess it doesn't feel like work because I kind of like we kind of just chill out. We talk about things, and obviously we're going to have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about because there's so much stuff happening on the timeline, especially around NFTs and stuff, which is awesome. How about yourself, Burge? You've just moved into your new flat. Everything going all right?
Yeah, I moved into my new flat, and then my parents go on holiday, and because we have 2 cats that we got.
Are you back home now?
Last year, I've moved back for a week, looking after the house and pet sitting the cat. So that's something that happened that wasn't NFTs. And then the other thing
I hope they're paying you. I hope they're paying you to house.
They are not paying me. I'm not. I'm doing it for free, but I'm not going to be able to do this again, unfortunately. The one thing though, actually, I did want to touch on, which wasn't NFT related, was I don't know if anyone saw the game yesterday, the game between Bayern and PSG. 9 goals.
5-4.
That was insane. That was insane. What a game!
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
I was at the cricket club with a buddy, and he was like, "I'm going to go home and watch the game." And I thought, "Oh, that could be quite a decent game." Obviously, I watched the highlights today.
Simon, you need to catch the highlights. It's crazy.
It does look completely mad.
That was the first leg, yeah. So it's not done yet, but at one point it was 5-2. The next leg's in Bayern in Munich.
5-2, and they came back to
5-2. Yeah, but PSG were up, and Bayern got 2 goals back to bring it to 5-4. So it's all to play for in the next game.
Good stuff. guys, let's dive into it, folks. To the 27 of you, just do me a massive favor. Please share the stream. Really appreciate it. We're doing it at a slightly different time, just to accommodate some other kind of commitments outside of the NFT space. Guys, how do you feel about what's happening at the moment? There's kind of this dichotomy between the crypto market flatlining and NFTs up and to the right, and it just something's clearly happening. Obviously, we spoke last week about this kind of hybrid between the physical and digital. You saw we showed the Pokemon chart when it was like up and to the right. Simon, I don't think you're here for that, but we're kind of
that's interesting. Yeah.
So what people are doing is obviously they're leaning into the alternative assets, but they're having the digital receipt or the NFT with the physical asset in a vault, and they're trading with the digital asset, and they're realizing it's creating less friction, or it's not creating any friction because you don't have the postage and the packaging and the damage, and you don't know it's going to be a counterfeit. And also these platforms are backing the asset with 90% liquidity. So if you buy something, if you do a box break of something and there's something you don't like, you can just sell it back and you get 90% of your liquidity back, and there's no redemptions. There's no redemptions for the physical asset. So this is it's obviously through the card games that is driving the digital collectibles, which is somewhat ironic. How are you guys feeling about the space? Obviously, we all hold coins and NFTs. I feel a lot comfier in NFTs at the moment with the way things are going. How are you guys feeling about it?
First, on your first point, I really like the kind of digitalization of everything. I've actually been interacting in VFriends. They have these koala briefcases where it's the exact same concept. So the NFT, people right now are selling this NFT. They're trading this NFT that they got airdropped for holding that Keynote Koala book game token for a number of years. They're trading that on OpenSea, and then people, if they actually want the physical, which most people do, or maybe they just bought it and they're going to try and flip it for a little bit more in 6 months' time. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you have until the end of the year to claim the physical. If they want the physical, once they get the NFT, they go over to VFriends' website and they burn the NFT, and the physical, it goes to like a Shopify page. They put their address in, and it ships out for free.
Yeah.
So it's seamless, and you're 100% right on that point. Of it makes trading way easier. I mean, like, take this compared to eBay. So eBay, I had someone buy one recently from me, but the problem is, I put 2 listings up, one on ebay.com and one on ebay.co.uk. Now, ebay.com still has fees attached. It's about 13%. ebay.co.uk doesn't have any fees, except if you sell internationally, it's about 2-3% fee. This person bought it from me on ebay.com, and I was like, I'm going to get charged a hefty amount of fees. Would you buy it off me on ebay.co.uk, and I'll lower the price for you? I'll give you a bit of a discount. For some reason, they were just, I don't know why, but they were a little bit like hesitant, and they didn't want to proceed with the deal in the end. If this had been NFTs, it would be as simple as they would have bought it from me. Then they sort out the shipping. They burn it, and they collect it, and it gets shipped out straight from VFriends. It's by far, it's going to be a big deal as we go, as the collectibles world continues to evolve. This digitalization is going to make trading way easier, I think.
Yeah. Simon, what do you notice about the general market? What's happening at the moment, bud?
It's very exciting to see people so buzzing on X, and actually see that matched by obviously the price of NFTs going up, which is fantastic to see. There's always a part of me that feels, I don't know about you two, a little bit hesitant, and you'll have some data that I may not have, for example, Jaden and Burge, but it's interesting. I'm looking, and I think we've had such a tough time in big patches of months and years with this, that you get a sense that the moment people get a little bit of happiness and positivity and floors go up, everyone gets quite euphoric in a way, and then of course you get a pullback and everyone goes really doom and gloom. And I guess it's really weird, just at the moment where I should be going, this is amazing and fantastic, and all these years have been waiting, there's a little part of me that's just being cautious about what is driving this? Are the facts that it's sustainable? For example, it's very, very promising when you say about the collectibles market, and we talked about that before. That's just going crazy, and you can't stop but think that must spill over into NFTs with time.
Yeah.
And I believe real world assets, gaming, all those things are showing. The only trouble is, you said the other day, Burge, don't believe AI and everything AI says, which is so true. I did, just for a kind of comparison, I went on 4 different AIs just to say, is this a bit of a, not a bubble, but just a short term, in your opinion, or is there some substance here? And they all said there may be some little shoots of substance and sustainable elements, but actually there's just as strong an argument, if not more, for it to be a little bit of a moment, and it needs a bit other factors to make it really catch fire. But I'm not making a judgment either way. I'm just saying it's really weird, just when I should be going, this is crazy. One last thing I'll say as well, it's funny how your anxiety goes up. All the things that, I mean, so many different collections, but there's quite a few I'm still not in.
Yeah.
And the artwork, and
You
the
feel
moment I see the price
underexposed.
going up, it was ridiculous. And so the price starts going up, and I get this.
It's not like you've had 5 years,
Oh,
Simon, to buy this stuff.
no, I haven't had 5 years. Then I suddenly feel unprepared. And I go, I should have bought that, and I should have bought that,
It's
and I should have
true.
bought that. You get that anxiety because it's all going up.
I mean, I kind of feel like my bags are packed here. It's interesting. I was reading a research. It was a UK research firm was showing the trend of kidults. So basically, adults buying toys, and the majority. In fact, I think it's gone over 50%. That most of the toy buying is for adults.
Lego.
Amazing.
Lego's the big one.
Lego and obviously like these, I guess these collectible sets and
trading cards.
But what's driving it is the social connection and the stimulation for collecting. And then when you think about it, actually the NFT, what the NFTs do is they organize community. Communities organize around it. So it's an all-encompassing thing. So you get the liquidity with the asset, you get the collectible, you get the social signaling, and you get the built-in community. So then it's like, I mean, I was saying this on a stream the other day, is that like people don't realize, like, there's a whole bunch of people in coins or meme coins that are dunking on NFTs, not realizing that they're basically just the same stuff because it's all just block space, except for the fact that most of these NFT communities, they meet up with each other. Even online, they have these kind of, because people organize around the assets. I mean, look at us. We've got into certain NFT projects. We've met up around it. We've had meetups and we've met some of the founders or whatever. But it's a more immersive experience, and the assets are more expressive. And when that happens, it makes it very difficult to sell. And I wanted to share something on the floor prices, because I was looking through NFT floor price, which is a platform I look at. And actually in the last 30 days, out of the top 100 in market cap, how many do you think are up in price? If you were to guess.
In terms of how many do you say?
Yeah. How many of the top 100 in market cap do you think are up in price?
35.
It's like a game show.
Yeah. You go first, Bird. And if you get it wrong, you get cancelled. Now
I'm going 35, Simon. You're gonna go higher or lower than me?
I'm gonna go, and this is the top 100. I would say 70%.
70%.
I don't know. Go on.
You're
going to say 2%.
2%. In the last 30 days.
Yep.
Every single one.
What?
Every single one. This is the thing. What people don't realize is that I say what people don't realize. What I'm just realizing is people are actually treating these in the same way they're treating the coins. And actually, I'm going to do a share screen. And
that's interesting. Yeah.
Because actually, they're operating more like network adoption models. So people are in the networks that form a part of their friendship groups, but because the vast majority of people only hold one in each of them, we're seeing it with Betsy with Deadfellas. Her holder ratio is insane. It's like 60.
I saw that. It's crazy. And only X% were listed or something very tiny.
And they've got such a small. And then what people are going to do is they're going to feel underexposed because the price is going up. So they're going to double dip. So you're going to get the original holders double dip and more demand coming in. It's going to go absolutely. Deadfellas are going to go bananas. But I'm just going to share this screen, and then we can just We can just kind of go on it. But I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah. I'm looking at it myself on the
Yeah,
right.
I'm just
Crazy.
I'm just going to zoom in on it. So obviously, for the benefit of the viewers, I say the benefit is the viewers at home, like we're doing a fucking talk show. I guess it kind of is. But but look, I
Yeah,
mean,
how did you zoom in like that? That's really nice.
yeah, I've got a touch screen,
You
mate.
cracked
In
it.
fact, you
You
know
cracked-
what? I did a share screen on another live, and people were dunking on me for having a Chromebook, and I was like, guys, I can't.
You can do the pinch.
Yeah, I can
That's
do the
really
pinch.
nice.
You can't do that on an Apple, me old mate.
No, you can't do that on my monitor right here.
Yeah, but look at this. So yeah, obviously CryptoPunks is the OG, so that's up 20%.
Bored Ape, obviously.
This is. Do you remember the meme with Justin Bieber, and it had him? He's got like a tear rolling down his cheek, and then he's got the sad ape, and it said he bought it for 1.3 million, and it's only worth 10 grand. Well, lucky for Justin Bieber, it's now worth 22 grand.
Yeah. Simon, you remember I said I went to that ape event in London. I had this moment, a really funny moment, where I was talking and like people had kind of stopped talking, so I was like the only one talking, and I confidently said figgy, right? But then I was like, is it figgy or fig? And I was thinking, imagine if it's fig here, and I look like an absolute idiot, like I don't know, like an imposter.
I know,
because I was a +1, so I was like, after that bit, I asked someone, I said, it's figgy, right? And they said, yeah, it's figgy.
I wish they'd said, no, it really
is fig. I don't know who the fuck you're talking about.
Look at that, and squid chromies,
Mutants. So Bored Ape Mutants makes
Don't do this to me, because now I want, you know what you're doing, don't you? This is what I mean.
Chaps,
I want these.
He's having
some of them, but
I think, and this is going to be a massive shout, I think these all go back up to all-time highs. Because what you're seeing, or the behavior pattern that you're seeing, is the fact that these are operating like network adoption models, and it's going to be a race to the top for the most prominent networks. The Pudgy Penguin network, the Mutant Ape, the fucking Bored Ape, these are all going back up to all-time highs. 100%.
So, Jayden,
and also,
question, what you're basing that, is you basing that on new money coming in from new people coming in?
Yeah.
Or largely a rotation within the basic community we got?
But if you look on NFT Scan, 73% of the Mutants collection hasn't moved since mint day. So you've got, what you're going to have is a supply crunch. You're going to have culture that's been bedded in. You're going to have 5 years of runway of people holding these. So it's going to have a Lindy effect of people not wanting to let them go. The vast majority of people only own one. So it makes it even harder. And if people think they have something that's of cultural significance, they don't want to let it go. Then I think what we do is we get into the realms of fractional, and people fractionalizing their stuff, and then it just becomes. I think these go absolutely fucking insane. And I think the last bull market, Mutants went to like 48 Ethereum or something, or 50 Ethereum, and the ETH was at all-time highs. Now let's say in ETH terms it doesn't get up to all-time highs, but I think ETH goes to 10, 15 grand. And then I think on a dollar basis, it goes to all-time highs.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say like ETH wasn't going to go as high as it has before, but yeah, ETH's going to go higher than it's gone before.
Yeah.
And then, but in ETH terms, the pricing of the NFT isn't going to go maybe as high. It might. Honestly, I don't disagree. I think the most ridiculous thing I see on the timeline is when people post NFTs will never go back to the height of 2021. Because I don't think they understand how markets work and how ebbs and flows work when you look at different assets. This is quite clearly, obviously, we had a crazy time in 2021 and 2022.
Yeah.
Sure, I get that. And in some ways, there will be elements of that won't repeat themselves because they were because it was the first time it was exploding. It was exploding for the first time. Now, but I do think it's going to explode for the second time. And just like when you observe the Bitcoin chart, I mean, Bitcoin exploded for the first time. I bet when it crashed, people were saying, "Oh, it will never go back there. That was a one-off. That was a fad." Well, but Bitcoin has proved them wrong 8 times.
It's very heartening to see an asset class that we had that experience with, and then we've gone through everything we've been through,
Yeah.
going right down, and it's really heartening to see this resurgence, isn't it? Just because you think, well, then actually I wasn't going completely mad holding on for all this time. I was just looking at something like coders from the other side, the sort of obviously the original inhabitants of the other side. They've gone up back up as well to 0.97 ETH and things like that. And I bet you're really pleased, Jaden, you got your mutant a number of months ago as well, because that was a good move, I think.
Yeah, it was. Obviously, we're never going to time the exact... Hey,
Burge, do you think you'd get a mutant at some point?
I think I would. I think the scariest part when I look at my portfolio at the moment, and I understand that I only have a finite amount of liquidity, so I can't make a ton of different plays. But the scariest thing that I have was, if I look at my portfolio now, I don't have exposure to projects that I think are the blue chip projects in the space, like a Pudgy Penguins and like a Bored Ape. I don't have exposure to them because I've decided to back VFriends, Curio Cards, and some other like alternative plays. And yeah, I think I'd be worried if I didn't have any Bored Ape asset or Pudgy asset going into the future. For Pudgy, I wouldn't really want to own a little Pudgy. I'd probably want to own an actual Pudgy Penguins. But for Bored Ape, I would quite happily own a mutant or even like a coda. Also, another one, Other Deeds, up 100%. But I think that's all related. It's all related to Figgy, right? I think a lot of people are seeing.
I tell you what, Quirky's
from Figgy is crazy. Yeah, Quirky's
doing well.
I'm not very knowledgeable on Quirky's, but it's done really well, hasn't it?
Doodles has started to come back up again, which is.
And what about your Solana play?
Hey, Claynosaurs, that's hovering.
Hey.
Hovering
Ben
along.
always talks about that to me.
I love my Claynosaurs. I've got one of those. With the Other Deeds, I've said it, and most people would say this, but it's someone was saying to me outside of Web3, if I was to get an NFT, and I was going on about the art and certain collections, I said, to be honest with you, a bit like the real world, might be quite a good idea to get some real estate in the metaverse, and the one to play for is the other side, because
of course
it's a creator platform, and it's gonna become, if it works as we hope it will, the other side with what they're doing, this is land. It's definitely worth people having one deed. I really would recommend. I mean, that's terrible, not financial advice on that, but you know what I mean. If you're going to be part of it, yes.
If you compare it with the other ones as well,
I've got 4, and I should have more.
It's the only play, if you're talking about real estate in the digital world, it's the only play, because those other ones, Jaden, you remember here, I can't remember them all. Sandbox. And
I've got my Sandbox still.
Was it Tomorrowland?
Hold on to it.
No, not Tomorrowland. It was something else. What were they all called?
Oh, God, I bet people are saying, for God's sake, it's
put them in the chat, guys. But there was a bunch. Sandbox. Decentraland. That was it. And these have gone. I don't want to hear it. If you come to me right now and you say, no, you don't buy another deed, rather, go buy Decentraland or buy something in Sandbox, I will literally block. No, I'm joking. But that is an absurd concept. Other Deed is like, it's the monopoly, Simon. Like there is no other. I don't even think there's another horse in the race, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree, and I really think what you don't quite get as well, which is great, is how large they are. Because when you go into the other side now and you travel around and you do your bit, if you suddenly realize how much land you've got. I've got 4. Some have got artifacts on, some haven't. Some are closer to the center, some aren't.
Did Adam Weitzman buy a bunch of land?
Yes.
He's got so many deeds. He bought the coders recently, a whole batch more. I mean, he is obviously fantastic for the space, but he's also particularly deeply involved with Yuga, with Figgy, with everyone, Gargo.
Yeah, one of the things that obviously we've just gone over that NFT chart. Basically, the top 100 are.
That's great.
So what this says to me is obviously CryptoPunks are the index, the entire space. They're back up to 31 Ethereum or just under 31 ETH. I think that's a positive signal for the rest of the market. Whether this lasts, who knows? But I just think when you look at things like, we've got the midterms in November. We've got a new Fed chair potentially. Although we just read something before we got online that Jerome Powell's
He's
not leaving.
going.
I was
He's not
looking it up,
leaving.
Aiden, during the intro.
He's refusing to budge.
You better fucking leave, because I'll be on a plane over to the US, mate, and we'll.
It says here, I've done a bit of research on that point. It says Jerome Powell says that he intends to stay as the Federal Reserve Governor, which is a separate role to the Fed chair. So he's going to be removed as the Fed chair, and the new Fed chair will come in, but he's going to stay on the board as a governor.
Yeah.
So does that mean he will then vote still?
Yes, I think so. It says he keeps his full seat on the 7-person board of governors. Now, one thing I do want to say to kind of there's an important point here, Jane, that I think might be you might like to hear. This is really interesting. I'm hoping it's real, because obviously in the world of X nowadays, we don't know if it is. But it says the real, even though they held rates at 3.5 to 3.75%, it says there was 4 dissenting votes. That hasn't happened since 1992. That shows that people on the board are starting to disagree with Jerome Powell's sentiment.
Right, that's interesting.
And it might bode well for
Walsh.
What might come. Yeah,
that's interesting, because I watched a lot of that.
Walsh.
Yeah, I watched a lot of that Kevin Walsh, and he was saying. He references Alan Greenspan, the guy in the mid-90s, who was basically applauded for the way he ran the economy, because he could see that the internet was improving business conditions, but it didn't show in the data. And he's saying the same thing's happening with AI at the moment, because AI is making businesses much more efficient. And he actually quotes Jeff Bezos. He's saying, if you can see something anecdotally, but it's not showing in the data, go with the anecdotes. And obviously you can see at the moment that all of these technology companies are laying off people for AI, because it's making them more efficient, or they're using AI as a crutch anyway to lay off, and whilst simultaneously making shit tons of profit. So these technology companies aren't not making profits. And actually the layoffs seem to be a positive thing for the market. So I think the forward-looking stuff is much more positive. Now it's just like, okay, a huge function of these NFTs is going to be the Ethereum ecosystem. If the economy improves, obviously the economy improves, the rates will come down. But when the last rate cycle, the easing cycle that we had, it increased Bitcoin to all-time highs. So that's going to have a knock-on effect with Ethereum. Then all of a sudden, you're going to have this. I was reading a little stat before we came on that NFTs make up 0.1% of the entire crypto market. And you imagine if that goes to 1%. That just goes to 1%. And then crypto goes up by a factor of 5. And then it gets you thinking, hold on a second, these ones here that weren't, that people are debating whether they're going to get to all-time highs or not, it's obvious that they're going to get to all-time highs, because when you look at the individual collections, 75% of people in most of these collections are not selling. And then you speak to people on the timeline, like normies who are not really into the NFT stuff, and they'll say things like, well, that's because they can't sell. Mutants have just sold like 1,000 NFTs this month. Who's had 1,000 sales? Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
That's people who don't understand the space. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that talk that don't understand the space, and then there's some people who, and we just talked about it earlier, of people saying that, you know, NFTs would never go back to all-time highs of 2021. I think those are people who were in the space and they've been, by this bear market, they've been completely broken, and that happens.
Absolutely,
that happens.
That's what it will be.
It happens when stock crashes happen. People go, "Fuck this! Fuck this stock. This company's never going to come back," and it does come back, because everything ebbs and flows. It moves in cycles. All markets move in cycles.
I agree. And the other thing is, the longer these NFT collections mature and are in the culture, and they are part of the fabric of the crypto market, and it can only be beneficial for them. You know, every month, every year that goes by, they kind of accumulate more power and potential, and longevity, and it just starts to snowball, I think.
Yeah.
I just how people can't really say it's never going to go there again because we've had nothing to compare it to.
This is it. But this
It's
is it.
so fresh, it's so new.
But if you add in outsized demand through the collectibles, and we were touching on this earlier, but what I want to do is share a video, and actually Luca Netz talks about this thing about the trading card games actually being the thing that's going to be the catalyst that drives demand for this. But if you factor in all of these things, improved financial conditions, us becoming more digitized, more people getting into crypto, NFT holders not selling, the multiplier effect of ETH going up, all of these things, and you think, well, probabilistically, this is a fucking home run, guys. Like, why would you buy anything else from NFTs? And this is the thing that I can't. It's very hard, and without sounding insane, you try to explain this to someone outside of the space, and they're like, "What the fuck are you going on about?" But I'm going to share this. This was a real interesting interview I watched recently, which was on Luca Netz. I'm going to zoom in on it. The caption says, Luca thinks the NFT bull market is closer than we think. TCGs, basically trading card games, are doing what they did last time. NFTs went crazy. Memes took some of the 4-year cycle energy, but the worst is behind us, and it's sooner rather than later. But I'm going to play the video. It's real interesting what he says here, and then we can kind of.
So it's actually like throughout the years, like every year, these NFT guys are like, the bull run's happening. Like I'm pretty consistent that like, okay, like when did the NFT thing blow up? It blew up in 2021. I was pretty consistent that like you needed at least 4 years. The 4-year cycle like had to apply there for it to come back. I think memes took a lot of the life of like what would have been the end of the 4-year cycle from when NFTs blew up to when they should have ran again. And I actually think it's a little strange that TCGs are doing what they're doing and NFTs are not. The last time you saw TCGs do what they're doing now, NFTs were going crazy. So it's a little interesting. But I think it's way sooner than it is further away. Like it has to be sooner rather than later here. And I think like the worst is behind us. I said that in the past over the last year, but I think that still like exists and is like still true today.
Wow. So he's
He's bullish.
He's bullish on it, and it was very interesting what he says there around the meme coins taking some of the energy away from, I guess, the 4-year cycle, which probably speaks to the fact that we're now in a 5-year cycle. But also, obviously, there's some stuff to do with the refinancing or whatever. But it's funny. I listened to Luca, and a lot of the stuff he speaks around is very geared towards pricing of the NFT. He's very NFT focused, whereas I haven't felt that with Gary. Gary's very much story focused around VeeFriends.
Gary hasn't mentioned it at all, has he? The floor price of VeeFriends. I don't think he's mentioned it for 2 years.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like it's almost an opposite of what he was doing when he first got in, which was he was just fucking pumping it, saying how bullish he was and people get into this and blah blah blah. But Simon, you're very much hot on the pulse of what some of the founders are doing.
I was really pleased. I was really pleased. We talked about it the other day, but I wasn't here last week. About for example, people like the G's on Ape, and Rida, who is just insatiable. His work ethic and everything he's done with Inceptive Studios and his studio being a gateway for many other NFT collections to get onboarded to the other side, because he does the 3D rendering, and of course the G's on Ape are started and are 3D, but he's doing so much. So that I really get, as you say, the founders mean a lot to me personally. Like with Gary V and that, because you do know that they are the ones who ultimately are the drivers. They have the passion, and you do have to, I think, not just think about the collection unless it's one that's historical and it runs on its own. Then I think the founders make such a huge difference to the success of it. And like Michael Viggy just taking over. Not that Gaga's brilliant, but the fact that he's a slightly different personality. He has his own. He's had his own other business before, which I say is why it's so linked to 10KTF. now called Kagami. You know, and he was in business with Beeple at that time. You got people who are just the real deal.
Yeah.
No one's perfect, but they're the real deal. You just get behind them, don't you? I mean,
Yeah.
him just becoming now heading up has injected something, hasn't it? It's been fantastic to see.
100%.
Yeah. I just want to, just on the same theme of NFTs, one of the things that came up on the timeline, well, I say come up on the timeline, obviously we're in the private chat in our WhatsApp group, in the founders chat. There was a few things about World of Women. I dived into the Discord, and obviously I don't do too much on Discord, but I dived in there, and it was like a parallel universe. I don't know what was going on in there, but it seemed very salty. I think it's worth touching on. Burge, did you pick up anything on that? And then obviously after that, what we'll move on to is Deadfellas, because I know there's some really good stuff happening there with.
Well, I think Simon wanted to chime in on the on that kind of disenchantment, I guess you were saying, Sam, with the
I'm
WoW.
we can get both your thoughts as well, because I'm very, very mindful about, we can say things in small communities, private chats, or even in Discord, and then when you start speaking it out, you know, etc., etc. And I've never been one to want to, but I've got such a passion for World of Women because I was there at the very beginning, like many people, and there is such potential just for what it stands for, but the art itself, and it's just so different, and etc., etc., etc. I'm just a bit confused by a slight shift over the last few months in terms of less contact. To be honest, V's not been in touch, and I mentioned it in very much, and I mentioned in Discord, I said, look, rightly or wrongly, if people are feeling disenchanted, and I know the sort of floodgates opened a week or so ago because the price went down because a whale sold a lot, and that's no reason for a founder to have a knee-jerk reaction to people's complaints. That's not a good reason. But what is a good reason is if you notice that the floodgates, that was just a symptom. It was almost like a catalyst to let people express what they've been thinking for a while. And I think if I was looking at it this way, I think, look, the people who there are some people who make complaints about things who are just pain in the neck, and they just do that because that's how they are, and they like to do that. But if enough discerning, intelligent, kind people, people who care and know what they're talking about, are showing dissatisfaction with something, then I know from a leadership point of view, because that's the work I do in leadership, is that what you do is, with a bit of humility and strength and steel, is come out and just say, let's have a chat. I want to what's happening. And of course, what happens, final thing to say without rambling on, is that I think what happens in silence is there's a vacuum and people fill it with assumptions, and that's trouble is you fill it with all sorts of, could be nonsense, half of it. But if there's a vacuum, people fill it. And so my view is, why not just come out and talk about what you're specifically doing in the moment and why and what's been happening? It's just a very human, normal thing to do, isn't it? I would expect anyone to do that.
I guess the hard part, Simon, is sieving through that. How do you know who's, how do you know where, when it's coming from a good play, like a person who, is kind and has been in the project for a long time and knows the project well, and how do you know when it's coming from that person and on the other hand,
I understand what
negativity.
I understand what Simon's saying is, like, there's wisdom in the crowd. If there's a force,
and you should know by now, because they've been there for years.
It's
true.
True.
It's like the community note thing. If 1,000 people say it's bullshit, it's probably bullshit. But it's interesting. Obviously, I've spoken to V a couple of times.
She's great.
We all have, and we've had interviews and stuff. I've always thought with the thing that appeals to me about World of Women is the historical significance, and it's like you can almost do too much with something. It's
I agree.
With CryptoPunks, there was who was the person who was I think he was like heading up crypto. When CryptoPunks got sold to Yuga Labs, there was someone who was heading up CryptoPunks, and the whole Punks community said, Do not do a fucking one commercial thing with CryptoPunks. Just leave it because it's historical. And I almost think there needs to be that kind of hard line with World of Women.
You think it's in the same boat?
Yeah. Not as
Like-
CryptoPunks, it's not the same as CryptoPunks, but it's a behemoth. People don't even realize it's the first ever female-led project, and it's the first one to pop off and have cultural significance and have that social consensus tied to it. Notwithstanding the fact that there were some, I know celebrities aren't a good like litmus test for if it's good or not, but they were like Eva Longoria, Madonna, Reese Witherspoon. I know Gary Vee and Logan Paul and Steve O, and all these people got into it because the foremost. I think Beyonce might got like there's different people that got into the project because it went up to astronomical prices. Now it just needs the Lindy effect of surviving. You don't need to do this quirky different stuff with it. You just need to let it exist. And,
which is ironically, that is what they're doing, right? V is trying to do a lot with it, like a Pudgy. Like
She's trying to do a lot.
Yeah.
She feels probably a compulsion to do that, to be different, to do something radical. And I
think that's who she is as well, right?
Yeah, and I love radical. I love experimentation. I suppose I did put a post out and I just said, notwithstanding everything else you can do with something like World of Women, not saying don't go down those other avenues, but the two fundamental things are they were super brilliant at was in-person events, which, and I even said that is no small matter. That's not a trivial thing to say, that if you could aim to be the premier in person, in real life events for the whole NFT and even expand to the crypto market, you're supreme at it. You know how to bring people together. You know how to put something on fantastic, and you stand for something. And you also are a platform for really bringing in artists. Those were the two platforms that were able. Oh yeah, and do other things. Please do other things. But it's kind of sometimes things are right in front of you.
Yeah.
Why reinvent the wheel on something you're already damn good at?
As crazy as it sounds, they would crush at the events because the psychology behind the people in the space is, I'm going to go meet some females. I know that's as fuck. I know that's like, no, it's
we're
true.
going to go on the dating thing now.
No,
but yeah,
no, I know, but like it's like the psychology of the person is like, oh, actually, there's a lot of bro energy in the space, and you might actually meet some.
And you want a different energy, and also it was always unbelievably classy, really, really brilliant. I mean, I went to them, and it was just a really great experience.
Yeah, it was.
And we all know we value getting together. People value being together. Hence, what you're doing, Burge.
Yeah.
Ironically, they actually view the events as something that although they know they went well, they viewed that the previous teams were spending too much money, and that was too much of a fixation. Was the event?
You got to be wise about it and clever about it.
It's a complete different mindset of this new team and headed up by V and the old team of like the different energy that they're bringing. And I would argue maybe that V is thinking, well, guys, looking at what's happened before, it's not been successful, as in like over the last 2 or 3 years, not in the bull market, but in the bear. Like what like has it been successful? What the team has done over the last 2 or 3 years? No, and so therefore she's wanted to take it in a completely different direction. But I hear your point, because I do think you're correct. I think they could have established themselves as the premier Web3 event, and that was a good part. Like, while hosting events is an important part of the Web3 space, maybe they were spending too much money on it. But
and you'd have to think of different ways to make money out of it. You could have to be a bit more business savvy.
And maybe it's not viable anymore. I mean, we saw NFT Paris completely shut down, right? So maybe they're finding that it's not possible with sponsors, etc. They had to pivot from that road they were going down.
So that's obviously the I guess the premier female-led project, but there's another one that's really got on the radar for me. One called Dead Fellas. Obviously, you guys would have seen it on the timeline. It's absolutely crushing in terms of pricing. I don't know if you've seen Betty on the timeline. Some of the posts she does,
she's back, kind of thing.
Do you know what? I love her energy. I really like her energy around the tweets and the posts that she does. She's like, I think she put up a post either yesterday or today. She was like, listen, the first time when I launched Dead Fellas, I was breastfeeding and I was trying to run a business and I'd lost my job or blah, 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 and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Says,
Yeah.
Can you imagine what's going to happen now? She said I was outpacing like crypto bros who are 10 years younger than me. Can you imagine what's going to happen now? I'm CEO and I've
Yeah.
got
I was always, I mean, I have got a dead fellas from ages ago, just
Right.
there sitting in the wallet, and
that
it's
doesn't
great,
surprise
isn't it? I know it's ridiculous, but sitting there for all that time, and now it goes up, and I go, oh, why did I get another one?
But
It's
it's
just
but this
classic
is
psychology, you
just
know.
look at again look at the holders, like 60. I want to say it's
Is it
61%.
unique holders? 61 unique
Yeah,
holders, isn't it?
yeah. The holder ratio. Let me just check it on my phone a second. But the holder ratio is, and the supply hasn't moved. None of it's moved. There was like 100 listed the last time I checked it.
Yep, 61, 62%.
Yes, yeah, 61.7%.
Amazing, that is.
So they've got 6,166 unique owners. That is insane, because what you're going to get is you've got a whole bunch of people that own one. You're going to have a whole bunch of people, I guess Wales, you have a few, whatever. But then you're going to have those people who own one. You're going to FOMO into another because they want to double dip. Then you're going to get a new audience come in. You're going to have, because of the way she is, you're going to have a whole bunch of people want to support her because they want to get behind her. She's constantly visible on the timeline. She's doxed herself at the end of last year. And I think this is one to look at. They
do as
they did
well.
over 100 million in trading volume in 2022.
Incredible. And also, Jaden, remember, and Burge, we're going about brothers or siblings.
Yeah,
This is a husband and wife team.
interesting. Are they still together? Just
Yeah,
check. Okay.
yeah. I mean, last time I spoke to them, no, they are together. Yeah. Last time I did marriage counselling for them. No, they're brilliant. They sound like really rock solid couple.
Right.
With their children. He is the brilliant artist behind it all.
Right. Okay.
And of course, which I must play, he's come up with a really very good game. Sounds like a puzzle game.
Right.
And
the dice game.
The dice game, sorry. And they've got a fantastic, I mean, when you look at the actual artwork, how distinctive, that's why I bought one. I was just immediately taken years ago by the artwork. It's just so different, so vivid. I could be a really good play now. It's come through, and yeah, Betty is right out there doing her thing. And now, Jaden, you asked her to come on and do an interview.
Yeah.
I think this time, now she's feeling up,
yeah,
and up and running. She might this time say yes.
I'm working on it, mate. I'm working on it.
I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to
It's
happen.
going to happen. Okay.
Well, Jaden, have you been in touch again? Have you been out there?
Yeah, I was a little bit thirsty.
Well, she said yes before. It just didn't schedule.
I know. I was thirsty in the comment section earlier yesterday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to snip this little bit. We're going to post it on. And we're going to see what she says. Clip.
Absolutely.
It looks like Chris. Looks like Chris is
Gavin.
watching the. It's like he's watching like delayed or something. He says he's probably talking about what I said earlier. He said I wouldn't sleep on a little pudgy as it also gives you an XP boost on abstract, which at some point will have a TGE. Honestly, I'm not really looking at the abstract TGE, but I know a lot of people are.
They have a TGE already, don't they? Pengu.
Yes, but abstract was their they tried to push for live streaming. They've tried to push abstract as their own network.
Right.
I'm not bearish on it necessarily. I just never really delved deeply into it or at all. Actually.
Chris, obviously, I appreciate you diving in.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Can I just say one thing, just quickly here? That I don't know why I come up with these stupid ideas, but I was thinking about oh god, I'm missing out, even though I've got literally thousands of NFTs, many of which are probably completely rubbish. But that's beside the point. I've often thought, I told you before, I wanted to have someone to be my cellmate, to help me sell. Do you know what I'd love to do? Anonymously from all my different wallets, put the contents of my NFTs out for public display and say, everyone else do the same. And what you do is you get everyone else who they don't know whose collection it is to evaluate what they would do to sell and rebalance and invest anywhere else. Because I feel it's just a personal thing. I'm so involved in what I'm doing. And Jaden, you were saying it's impossible to sell sometimes. I'm
Yeah.
terrible. I just don't
No,
sell.
I think
And I need someone to go, Simon, do you know what you need to do? Just move that there, sell that, buy that. Don't get emotionally invested. Get rid of those 10. Definitely buy that piece of artwork. I actually want Jaden and Burge. I want help. No, no. I want. I actually would like
Simon,
an objective view of my wallet.
I've probably sold the most NFTs out of all three of us in the last 2 weeks, and it's not very many.
Yeah.
I've sold 2 or 3.
See, you're ruthless, Burge. You're ruthless.
In a bull market, I've sussed out when a good time to sell is, and that is
never.
When?
Never.
Just says never, and the stream ends.
It's much easier never to sell.
Yeah, it is much easier never to sell. However, I think a good mental framework is, would I buy it for the price it's currently worth?
True.
And if you would not buy the asset yourself, for example, Burge, when your goat was at your gift,
160K,
160 grand.
Yeah,
I would not have bought it for that, and I'd be thinking,
sell it now. Yes,
I tried, but I got way too cute. You know, I was literally like, I got so cute that I was like, I don't want to pay the 5% fee, and I was basically like, I told this story before. 3 people from the VFriends UK group were saying like, we're interested in a goat. What would you do it for? And I said, and I was literally telling them, guys, I don't even really want to sell it. I don't even really want to sell it. And I was like, upcharging them. They were like, wait, that's like, it is the lowest priced one because the floor is this, but you're not giving us any of the fees. You're keeping all of the fees that you would save. And I'm like, yep. Yeah. If you want it, that's the price. And they ended up buying a different one for 30 ETH, which actually ended up being the one that
who's in the chat.
Yeah.
Tay who's reposted it. He didn't buy your gift goat.
Yeah, but he was in conversation. They ended up buying one that used to be owned by Mr. Beast. Tay, but on the topic of Tay, I want to pivot a little bit here to apples from Curicards. Apples have been going crazy. I saw your post as well, Jaden.
It might have something to do with my post. I don't know about that. You know,
I mean, someone literally went into apples and they didn't even put any offers on. They just bought 3.
Yeah.
And one of them they spent $1,000 on. Now, bear in mind before that guy, they've been selling for $400, $500, $600.
Yeah.
And I have to say I have a bone to pick with Tay, because Tay, after he picked up his second one, he goes straight into the founders chat and he says, have that, Burge, have that. he says, oh, you can now go and try and collect 1,000. Like he was basically, he said, I'm pulling out the race. I got my 2. And no, I have to tip my hat to Tay. Big respect. It's become a lot harder. I've been probably, I don't want to tout myself too much, but in the last 3 months, I might have been the biggest Apple buyer, and it's got difficult in the last few days. There's a lot more interest in them.
Yeah, well, I did a post yesterday. I think it got about 6,000 views, but a lot of bookmarks. I don't know. I just want to, off the top of my head, I want to say about 20 bookmarks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, okay, hold on a second. People are interested, and it's quite niche. I'm talking about an apple in a historical NFT collection, and then I do a bit of a thing on it, and people are sharing it. And obviously, I always have to caveat those historical posts with, I know it's not the first art. I know it's not, guys, I know listen, I like all historical projects. I've got to do the whole granddad, uncle thing. Guys, it's not tribalism. Don't fucking chew my head off. And then, because what people do is this tribalism thing, a la Bitcoin maximalism, but they do it with NFTs on steroids. Guys, as a category, all of the vintage historical NFTs are going up optically together. They're just all going to go up together because it's a category and people want to collect this stuff, and you just got to find stuff that you like. But the apple is just a staple.
Yeah, and Curicards were on Christie's. That matters as well. As well. How many other historical projects were on Christie's? I know there were a few, but I don't know if there were. I don't think they all were.
Yeah, I mean, I think Etherox might have been, and there's a couple of others, but I mean, obviously, it's just like
because I want to go and buy. You stop doing this because now I want to go and buy, and I'm trying to sell.
Yeah, but Simon, we're nowhere near selling, mate.
You're right. You're right. What I want to do is sell some stuff to buy some other things that I want.
That's what I've been doing.
I need an objective opinion.
That's what.
Obviously begging
Here's
for someone to.
what Burge has done, which is really clever, which is he's just capturing the trend of
Yeah,
historic.
I'm
and
just
he just-
pivoting.
Whereas people jump around and they buy things as a collector, and that's fine. But if you just buy the apple, you're capturing the trend of all historical NFTs, in my opinion. And there'll be other ones.
I have got one of them, but not.
Oh, you've got an
not-
apple.
No. I've got what I've got. Oh yeah. So I've got a Keurig card, but I
Yes.
haven't got an apple. So
I
did
just
buy one of
sold,
those.
Simon. I just sold a Cure card, and it's not like I don't believe in it. It was called Blue. It's number 25 or 26, I think.
Right.
I just sold that for $160. Now, do I think that's cheap for it's number 27. Number 27 Blue. Do I think it's cheap for $160? Well, I definitely think it's going to go way up when the NFT market picks up. But the reason why I sold it was because I came to the thesis of I actually think I would rather own less of these other Cure cards and more apples. I thought the price of an apple was too low, and regardless of if I was selling at a loss, which I wasn't, I was selling at like a $60 profit. I bought it for $100 about 3 or 4 months ago. I thought I'd rather pivot that money and pick up an extra apple by selling 2 or 3 other NFTs.
How many apples do you got now, bud?
13.
13.
Yeah.
That's insane. No,
How many apples are there?
There is about 1,000.
1,800. Well, there's 1,800, but there's
a lot of lots inactive.
Yeah.
Active supply is probably 1,100 total.
I just want to shout out Victoria Verdandi while we're talking about the historical.
Hi, Victoria.
She's the first ever female solo artist on Ethereum. Very much deep in the weeds of the historical community, but she's got some work from 2017, which is insane. And also she's got the outside strategic advantage of being a lone female in the space as well. Not a lone female, obviously there are females in there, but she's been around for a long time. She does some really good work, so definitely check her out on X.
And also she's a really lovely person.
She is.
Lovely person. Can I say, I'm just going to say once, are there NFT therapists out there?
Yeah, you keep saying this with the selling.
Right.
You don't want to sell, Simon. You get too much mental
I'll do
stimulation.
it for you, Simon.
No,
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm getting, but what it is, if I'm honest, it's FOMO, because I'm now looking at some collections which I think I should have jumped into. And so I think I'm going to realign and sell some of my other ones.
Simon, let's have a call. Let's have a call.
Yeah, but also I'm very happy to book in a therapy session with you as well.
Okay.
Let's do it. Yeah, we can do a combo. Yeah.
As a therapist, Bird, you just have to say, Simon, just show me on the teddy where the man touched you. I'm joking. I'm joking.
No. You should say all you got to do is just ask me questions. Tell me more about how it all came to be.
Open questions, Bird.
Yeah. Well, tell me why that already happened.
But you said about Victoria Verdandi. I do want to kind of jump in on. I have a question for you guys, based on art NFTs. I'm thinking, Victoria Verdandi. I'm thinking. Jaden, you often talk about who you think are like the top, the Banksys, the best, the top artists in the NFT space.
Yeah,
I think that we'd all agree it's got to be up there. It's got to be Beeple and Xcopy, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you guys a question, which was. I think on a previous live, you touched on the fact that like most of the gains in the art world were made if you owned one of these big, from these big artists, whether it be Banksy, I forget all the other names. I'm sorry, but sorry for all the artists out there.
The wealth accrued to those top artists.
Yes, yep, and
Andy Warhol.
Yes, Warhol, exactly.
Yeah.
And my question is, now will that happen by owning any Beeple or Xcopy, or does it need to be a one of one? Like I'm saying, like I'm trying to compare between one of ones and editions, because I know editions are obviously not going to perform. Well, they might perform strongly, but I don't know if they're going to perform as strongly as a one of one. And the other thing that flagged it for me was I was looking at these. This is a great website, by the way, Jaden, NFTpricefloor.com for people who are listening and want to check it out. But I'm looking at Fidenza by Tyler Hobbs. I'm looking at Autoglyphs. I'm looking at Croby Squiggles. But I'm also seeing Beeple here at number 20. And it's Beeple Genesis. This is obviously with the floor price of 74 ETH. These are his.
Is that politics is bullshit, yeah? It's called policy. What's the name of
No,
yeah,
sorry. I'm just looking at the Beeple Genesis collection.
Yeah, so that's his the name of his Genesis collection is Politics is Bullshit. You remember the bull?
Okay.
It's got the Tweety bird on the bull and it's got the American
Yes,
flag.
yeah.
It's an interesting one because I did a post about this. I posted the Beeple artwork by which had Gary Vee as the goat and has a run of 1,100 of them or something, or 1,110. And I said, look, this is a good one to get into because it's Beeple's lowest listed. And a whole bunch of people messaged me to say, and some real smart people as well. Drew Austin, and I really respect his opinion on the space. He said, "Oh, I thought it was great, but you misled me, or not misled me. I don't know what his wording is, but he basically just said, it's a collaboration. It's a later art date, and I think he added something else in there." About the supply. He thought the supply was too high. Then I'm just thinking, like, I do think people can kind of mid-curve the space a little bit because actually, if you just keep it really simple, it's like everyone in NFTs knows that the market responds to the entry-level tokens first. And if you look at the best artists, Xcopy and Beeple, and obviously there's others. I know there's Die with the most likes, and I know we've got Coldy and we've got Victoria. But you look at these top artists, the market will respond to their entry-level works first. So it will rise by the highest percentage. And then people will go for the grails, the one-of-ones, the people with deep pockets, and the middle gets squeezed. So the middle will get squeezed. Everyone knows that about NFTs. So we don't need to overthink this stuff. And
I agree. And they're not a massive supply of them. I mean, the other thing is just because there may be a whole lot of the same ones in a collection.
It's not a big supply.
There's just 1,000 or 500 or 300. In the great scheme of things, it's going to be minute.
If you look at Andy Warhol, so he did celebrity art. He popularized celebrity art, but he mass produced the art. So there were loads of them. There were loads of canvases, and then obviously I don't know whether there was an original print which sold for a lot more, and then there were others. But I don't think we need to mid-curve this because we're really early into this. He's got like 300 pieces of art listed. He's got 300 pieces of art listed. And then you think, well, there's no supply, so it doesn't actually matter. Like, we're overthinking the supply mechanics here. If you think that NFTs only make up 0.1% of the entire crypto space, and that goes to just 0.2, if it just 2x's from here, and you go with the same thesis that a lot of the value is going to accrue to the top people first, like 90% of it, then you're like, well, fuck, it's just a no-brainer.
I agree. Yeah.
For the Beeple and VFriends piece, so the reason why I like it as well is because I know for a fact that VFriends is going to be up there as one of the best projects of all time. And a lot of other people sleep on it, or they don't think that's going to be the case.
If
so I know.
Yeah. If he does end up being the GOAT and that plays out and he's got a fucking GOAT NFT with people.
That's a crazy collab. Yes, it's a collab, but it's a
Agreed.
crazy collab. It's like Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. And isn't Beeple doing amazing things for this space? Because he's out there again now in Berlin with his the animals and getting publicity. He's very, very good at getting publicity. And getting some sort of exposure, and what 100%. He does definitely has a knock-on effect for the NFT space. So I think he's
a funny guy,
He's amazing. He's very, very funny.
I remember in Minnesota, he came. We had this World of Women party. And his phone got hacked. I remember him being in the toilet. And he was hammered. He came in the toilet, and then do you remember a whole bunch of people in our group minted a project that they thought was his, and they got the VFriends drained from their wallet because someone hacked into his Instagram. The next day, he was on stage like nothing had happened. He was like, just like fucking basically talking in front of 4,000 people at VCon, which is funny. I just want to stick on the historical stuff, guys. Obviously, we went deep on the curio cards. Is there anything else that, and I assume, Burge, that you're looking at around historical NFTs? Obviously, I'm big on the crypto strikers. I think Crypto Strikers is going to be a very strong project. Simply because the supply, the attention flows will probably be the most predominant in all of crypto, in my opinion, because we live in a country where soccer is a big sport. In fact, all of the US sports put together don't even get close to 1/10 of a global soccer audience.
Mm.
And people don't realize this. People go nuts for, football or American football, or ice hockey or baseball, and they're not realizing that it just comes nowhere near. There's like, you could get some mid-tier players who play for Real Madrid and Barcelona and and they've got 50, 60, 70, 80 million followers on Instagram. Tom Brady has 14 million followers. It's like,
It's insane.
there's a guy listed. His name's Keylor Navas. He played for Real Madrid, and he's listed on Crypto Strikers. He's got 20 million followers. No one knows who he is. No one's ever heard of him. He's got more followers than Tom Brady. People aren't realizing how big the sport is. I just want to thank Rafka and Wild Honey for sharing the stream. Rafka says, "Hi, gentlemen. Happy Wednesday."
I definitely think Rap Strikers is going to be a big project. I know Americans, they're getting there. They are getting there, but they don't know enough about football to properly take it into account how big it is, like you were saying. And I think so. Rap Strikers is the other historical project I'm looking at. I know of other ones, Crypto Skulls. We were talking about the cats on the live stream last week, Jaden. Moon Cats. What was the other one? Crypto Kitties.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not touching them at the moment. But I do think, equally there's probably somewhere out there who's buying up all the fucking Moon Cats. Whereas I'm buying up all the apples, they're going and buying up all the rare Moon Cats, and they're probably going to do really well as well. One thing I do want to say though,
Go on, Simon, you just want to dive in there? Just hold on 2 seconds.
No, go for it, Burge. I'll jump in a moment.
So on this NFT price floor website, I'm seeing it's really cool to see what projects have the biggest market cap. VFriends number 8, CryptoPunks is obviously number 1. Actually, really surprising. I thought VFriends Series 2 is number 38. I mean, that for me, that's obviously because they have so many NFTs. There's 55,555 of them. They've only got $180 floor, but it's the 38th biggest collection by market cap. But one thing I wanted to point out was I'm seeing a lot of art, like art. And I'm not saying it, I'm not surprised, because obviously art is a big part of NFTs. I know we don't talk about it always a lot, but out of these top like 40, 50 projects, I mean, Autoglyphs comes in at number 4, Autoglyphs at number 5, Chromie Squiggle number 6, Fidenza number 7, Grifters by Xcopy number 12, Ringers by Dimitri number 13, Tomorrowland on Solana number 15. Solana, shout out to Solana, Simon. Other Beeple Genesis number 20, Gazers by Matt Kane, another artist, number 23. I actually don't know. I have not heard of that collection before. You've got Decentraland is actually still number 30. Well, I was shitting on it just earlier. Portal by Jeff Davis, number 33. And there was another one I just wanted to shout out. Where is it? Oh, Currency by Damien Hirst, one that we bring up a little bit as well. Just to me, it's a lot of art that's in the top 50, the top 100 project collections by market cap.
Agree.
Art is going to be a big factor. There's people in this space that I've seen swear by art over the last 5 years. They've said, fuck all these other NFTs. There's people out there that are literally haters of Pudgy Penguins, Bored Ape, but they are art collectors. They just max on the art. I think it's going to play. I think it's going to play. I don't know it enough myself, but I do think it's going to play. It's worth having some exposure, I think.
That's where I need to up my game. I'm just going to say, interesting 2 things. One is, I was gone about Node Monkeys on BTC. They're 19th there.
Yes.
Interestingly, we're talking about historic and just really interesting plays that have some historical value. This is going to be really probably something that's slightly off mark, but also partnerships with big fashion houses. Gucci Grails, which are the 10 KTF, which obviously Michael Figge was the running it all then, did a limited edition of Gucci Grails, and it was with is it Alessandro Michel, who at the time was heading up the fashion side of things with Gucci. And when you go onto Gucci Grails, they are all mutants, apes, pudgies, cool cats, World of Women in one of two different kinds of Gucci outfits. And it just makes me wonder a little bit about whether things like that have got these niche partnerships with big fashion houses or big may come through in the future. I don't know, but they may also have some value, because if you've got a mutant and I've got a couple of ape Gucci's, it'll be interesting to see if they might. I know a lot of people. There's a few people who definitely got quite a lot of those. I've got 4 or 5. So I think some things might surprise us as well that might come out of the woodwork we hadn't thought of or not made a connection with. But I do think that my old BTC, my ordinals, I've got some artwork, and I have got the Node monkeys, and
there's some
they're
Bitcoin ones in the top 50 there. I saw what was it?
On-chain monkey or monkey, yeah.
And it was on-chain monkey, and it was also another Bitcoin one was Runestone, Ordinal Maxi.
Ordinal Maxis, yeah. There's a few that might survive the test of time a little bit. If NFTs generally start surging, it will be interesting to see where ordinals do or don't go on this run.
Really interesting as well, I think, to have a look at what collections have weathered the storm the best. So if you go to something like an art project, like let's just take Ringers by Dimitri, I don't want to butcher his last name, so I'm not going to say it. It peaked at 65 ETH in 2023. It's now sitting at a floor of 9.6. I mean, it's bad, but is it as bad as some of these other projects? I mean, some of these other projects are down 99.9%. So, I mean, I would argue. Look at this one, Grifters by Xcopy. It doesn't give me any data actually before 2022 in April, but it is up. It's up from like where it peaked in 2023, 2022 at 20 ETH. It's at 16.4 now. I mean, that's weathered the storm in a bear market like nothing else.
Well, yeah. What about Chromies? What about Chromie Squiggles?
Say again.
Grifters are at 16 ETH.
Grifters by Xcopy have a floor of 16.4 ETH apparently.
Wow.
Unless this website is just bugging, I don't know.
What do you think about the Chromies at 2.75? Chromie Squiggle.
Chromie's really interesting,
and they are right up there, aren't they? With the where were they exhibited, or are they exhibited at the moment along with the punks? It was those two collections, wasn't it?
Yes. I can't remember where. Is it Miami? No.
Was it the UK? I don't know, but anyway, I think pretty good price for what they are and what they represent, actually.
And Jaden, just to confirm, yes, 16.4 is the floor for Grifters. There's 666 of them. 16.4. I mean, that's an insane floor price to have. Fidenza. If you look at Fidenza, and you sort by all in terms of period of time, and you look at the chart, it peaked at something like 125 ETH. It's now sitting at 17. So obviously that's pretty bad.
Just I guess for the benefit of people watching, there will be a whole bunch of people that are in different IP plays. We get a bunch of people from the Good Vibes Club community, Chimpers, V friends. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. I just guess for the benefit of people watching, like, what would you guys think about some real low entry projects for people to get into? That obviously with price appreciation in mind, that have probably and obviously not financial advice, but probabilistically, are there any projects that you guys think that you think this has got a good shot and it's kind of unloved? I know World of Women have. I know World of Women have Galaxy, but also World of Women are low, and they still got that hit. They got the historical one. VFriend Series 2 is a low entry. He's currently trying to onboard his 65 million followers into NFTs through the live streaming, which is really clever what he's trying to do. So there's these kind of unloved projects, but what people do is they respond to the ones that are going up in price. I think Deadfellas is a good one.
Definitely.
Like I think there's a few in there. Anything that you look at, you think this has got a real shot, and it's at a low entry for someone kind of listening in.
I mean, my thinking is it's definitely tougher when it comes to IP projects, because when you're talking about an IP project that has a low entry point right now, I would prefer to only recommend derivative like the second series, like a VFriend Series 2, where I know for sure VFriends are going to be around in 5 or 10 years time. Or at least that's my opinion. Whereas these other IPs, I think it's it's a gamble. It's definitely a gamble whether they're going to have a resurgence, whether they're going to capture the trend, and the market is going to revalue them again. It's why I look at. It's why I go back to historical. I mean, if I'm looking at if I'm talking to someone who has a low budget, they want to get into NFTs. That's why I tend to suggest, and it like I'm looking at the curio cards. I'm looking at the Mooncats, the other historical projects, because I think they are a far safer bet than some of these IPs. I mean, Nakamigos. Some people are big fans of Nakamigos or MFers. Nakamigos have a $270 floor, $270. But would I recommend that over VFriend Series 2? Personally, no. So
even though VFriend Series 2 got 55,000 tokens, mate.
Yes, that's true, and that is going to be hard. That's going to be hard. That's going to be an obstacle. I mean, in terms of the price increasing drastically, I think that's always going to hang over the head of the collection, right? Is that sheer amount of supply. But Gary's proved it before. I mean, yes, 50. One thing that I think is really important that people don't speak about a lot. You go back to 2021, 2022. Gary said something really profound, which was people are harping on about collection size. 10K, that's a lot. That's a lot. 55,000. He said, I just launched my Series 2, 55,555. Got a lot of shit for it. People saying, that's a crazy big collection. Well, it's not going to be a crazy big collection when the mainstream adopts NFTs.
So but also
it's crazy big now.
But what he was doing was very clever, because he realized there were network adoption models, and all he had to do was get more people in the network by having more tokens. Just so happens to be that there's 20,000 holders of VFriend Series 2. So now he's changed the relationship with 20,000 people, whereas these smaller collections, I mean, Chimpers, I think the only drawback for me for Chimpers and Good Vibes Club, even though they're amazing projects and they're going to be around for a long time, is the fact that I guess they will need to come out with some secondary stuff, although they've got the strategy token, so people can get exposure to it. But is that Chimpers is like 5,555. So they've got a small pool of original collectors, and actually it's about getting more people in your network.
That's true.
So
I agree.
This is why
I was going to say, and I was going to say that everything you said, Virg, about the historical, and both of you say about his historical, there's so much potential in those, definitely worth. I suppose I go a little bit as well into sort of strange little pockets, which may not be historical, but I go back to the Gucci Grails, other deeds for land. I definitely think that.
G's on 8, would you say that?
I would say G's on 8, but that's because I've been there from the beginning, and I cannot believe how much they've gone up in that time. And the other thing about it is they are the premier. There's Gobs on 8, by the way, which are one of the guys who works at Yuga developed. He does that in his own time. They're kind of like only about 2,000 or 3,300 of them. But the G's on 8 for 5,555 or whatever, I got them ridiculous early. But the thing about them is it's because they're doing real things. They are a proper Dubai-based Inceptor Studios. They are big, and they're going places, and they have a massive not a foothold, but they have a massive presence within the Yuga ecosystem because of Reader's reputation and what he does in that. And he's very close to, I think he's quite aligned to Gaga and Michael Figge and all that. He's there with them, and they're just amazing what they do. So that's that. But also one thing I would say about Ape Chain is it's going to be very interesting. I went into those in 2024, late 2024, when Ape Chain launched, because I was at the Bored Ape Yacht Club sort of get together that time in Lisbon, and they launched it. And I wondered whether in the future Ape Chain, if the ecosystem starts to evolve and other side starts to really take traction, I wonder where ApeCoin might go.
I was just about to ask you.
About that, because it's so low. Yeah,
wait,
it's so low compared to what it was at its height,
but
which was ridiculous.
they've got
Like
most of the
17,
supply.
18.
They've got most of the supply
Again,
unlocked.
yes.
Um, so
They're now
8.8 is an
burning,
interesting one.
burning. Yeah, and I didn't ever actually get into the ape NFTs because I thought, oh, ape is going to go up. But I just got really into that for a long time. I still am in it. But then I started thinking, well, look, I've got quite a lot of ape, but I haven't really thought about holding. It's not really I'm thinking I'm holding it. I'm thinking I'm holding a lot of ape NFTs. But we're talking about 80, 100,000
Mm,
in ape. And I'm thinking, well, what? Oh, it suddenly dawned on me the other day. I thought if it goes up a bit, that
yeah.
could be quite good. What if it went up to $1?
Yeah.
Didn't it go up to about 17 to 20 or something at its peak? $20 per ape. And now it's 0.12 or whatever it is. It's
Yeah,
ridiculously
I think it's got a
low.
shot. What
And
do you
I just
think?
wondered, oh, maybe I'll go up. Maybe I'll hang on to
Just
them.
quickly, Jaden, I just want to make sure that we cover some other projects. Another one I've just seen, which could be a play if you didn't have too much and you wanted to enter Azuki Elementals. Azuki and Azuki
Mm,
Elementals both up 60 to 80% over the last 30 days. And Azuki are doing some ambitious stuff in the TCG world. They're trying to become actually one of the top 5 TCGs, and it's a very ambitious goal. I don't know if they're going to make it, but they're trying to displace a lot of big players. And the other
yeah.
one would be like talking about, well, how much do communities matter? We always think communities matter quite a lot in the NFT world. What about something like Sappy Seals at $350? They're up 100% over the last 30 days. Or something like
Mm,
Cool Cats. Do they still have a shot?
Cool Cats bought
mm.
by Animoca Brands. Or not bought, but they've got a partnership, I think, with them. What
Another,
about Crypto Dick Butts?
yeah. But another project which is up is Invisible Friends, and the fucking founders haven't posted for 2 years on social
I
media.
know, and it was really good art. I mean, I really liked it personally, but
It's like there's a lot of the stuff happening, and we're just coming to the end here because we've got a founding members call to jump on in 7 minutes, private Zoom call that we're going to get on. But I want to ask you to just before, as we're kind of closing here, what do you think some of the mistakes people have made, the obvious mistakes that people are making? Because we made a whole bunch of mistakes in 2021. There's clearly going to be some things, some blind spots for a lot of people this cycle. I mean, I've got one which I can kick things off with, which is I think people are going to make the mistake of thinking they're late. Give you an example. I did a blog on mutants and I shared it. It went viral, got like 100,000 views. Me buying my mutant, it went to 0.75. Now it's at 1.7. There's a whole bunch of people going, "Oh well, I missed it," not
Yeah.
realizing it could probably go to fucking 50 ETH. And
yes,
that is not
yeah,
crazy. That is not crazy. It's like there's a whole bunch of people that missed out on that and not realizing how bananas this can go. And I think that's the biggest mistake that people are making. And then
That's a big one.
they're going to end up getting in late and then getting caught and then dropping down and being underwater, which is why it's like the Tim Draper IS curve. He says, just see the dot on the eye, and then obviously it comes down again, and then it languishes and it goes parabolic. We've seen the dot on the eye.
Yep.
We've got the proof of concept. It's bottomed. We've seen the dot on the eye. Now it's like, can you get into one of these with maybe buy a couple of them? I know it's at like 3-4 grand. It's still a lot of money for an NFT, but you're not realizing that all of these NFTs are up and ETH is down. A huge function of these NFTs is Ethereum. And it's like, guys, if ETH goes up and these go parabolic, this will go fucking bananas.
That's a really smart one, Jaden. I think that one, I do definitely agree with that. I think because I actually reckon there's people out there that actually wait for a small uptick and then buy in. And I reckon those people actually make a lot of money and they don't speak about it much. They actually wait for the movement to start, then they buy in because they know that it's still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
My one's slightly different, but it's around the kind of concept of, I believe people have been too lazy in the bear market. The bear market, a lot of people are down a lot across different NFT collections, but and I've been guilty of this myself at times of not being active, of just sitting on my bags and being like, well, hopefully, like I obviously believe that NFTs are going to come back, and when they do, I'll be able to sell out some of these projects. But actually, the position that I've taken, and you've seen it over the last few months, is actually one of, you know what, I'm going to audit my books now, and I'm going to see what still has a little bit of value. Oh, this project still has a little bit of value, and I have a few of these NFTs. Well, I would rather sell them now and buy, and I hate to keep going on about it, like an Apple, or sell off 10 NFTs and buy a Series 1, the friends. I would rather do that now and then go into a bull market knowing that I actually made these moves that I believe are going to, because I think what people are going to do, they are going to regret sitting and doing nothing during this bear market. And we've had years and years and years, but I think you're running out of time at this point. I think Luca is right. It's sooner rather than later that's going to happen. And I would push back a little bit on Luca. I did have a clip to share, but we don't have time now. But it's from The Big Short, and it's
Go on, how long is it?
It's 10 seconds. It's so funny.
Hey, watch, we'll pay. I may have been early, but I'm not wrong.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing, Mike.
You're managing a fund.
So he's basically saying that. It's a funny one. He's basically he's saying, I may have been early, but I'm not wrong. It's kind of like Lucas saying, it's coming. It's coming sooner rather than later. But the problem is, as an investor, saying that it's gonna come eventually is wrong. Like there's other ways you can make money. Like you're foregoing, like there's people in NFTs that could have extracted their money, made money for the last 5 years, and then re-entered the space and still had all the gains. But that's obviously.
I often think if we've all just mid-curved this, and we should have just built Bitcoin.
Yeah. I mean, I also think I think it's to just manage your emotions. I said to myself, as things go up, you can start getting FOMO into everything. You can't. Well, some people can. You can't be in absolutely everything. It's about self-management, isn't it? And being discerning and really objective about what you've got. And I also think there'll be I definitely take profits
this cycle's a profit taking one.
Take profits, but also don't go, you waited this long, don't be tempted to sell too early.
Yes.
And even if there's a little bit of a pullback, if you
that's a big one.
All this time, but you always take some profits without a doubt. He says the man who never sells, but you know what I mean. In theory,
but that's like the opposite of
because we're going somewhere.
That's the opposite. It's almost like the opposite of Jaden. It's like people are they've held this for 5 years, and the mutant's gonna go up to 10 ETH, and they're gonna sell. But hold on, you need to make sure you need to sell, and you need to take profit at times, but you don't want to sell too early. Don't sell too. But I think a lot of people think it's not going to go back up to 2021 heights or anywhere near, and I think a lot of people are going to end up selling earlier than they would have liked to.
And you're part of a club. You are part of a community. So when you sell, you're possibly leaving that community. You know.
Trust me, if my mutant gets to 50 Ethereum, I'm selling. I'm sorry, guys. I love but I am sorry. Rest in peace to my little guys. We've come to the end. For the 117 of you that have joined us, really appreciate it. If you want to get the recording, you can through the link in my bio. If you hit the link there, you put your email address in the join newsletter part. You will get all the updates. You'll get all the research pieces, but you can also listen to it in podcast form, which is much easier if you'd like to listen on the hop instead of on obviously a live stream. But Simon, really appreciate you joining the Commitment News show, mate. Really appreciate it.
Not at all.
And same to you, Burge. Always hot on the pulse, which is awesome. But we will catch you guys next week. Back to our usual schedule time at 8:30 Eastern time on Wednesday. We are going to change the times every now and again, but we'll see you next week. And we hope you have a good one.
Take care, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.